Battle between Sony and Zee over their merger dispute. The National Company Law Tribunal has agreed to hear a petition filed by a Zee shareholder seeking the implementation of the $10 billion merger with Sony. Zee has denied Sony's claim that the shareholder is merely a proxy for Zee. The development comes days after Sony pulled the plug on its merger deal with Zee, citing breach of agreement terms. Zee has denied the allegations. Ashmit is standing by with the details of the hearing at the NCLT. The matter now at the NCLT, separately also headed to arbitration in Singapore. Take us through the arguments that were made today in the NCLT, Ashmit.
Well, today we saw the first public face-off, direct face-off between the two entities on a public platform, that platform being the NCLT Mumbai. Now, importantly, the NCLT Mumbai was hearing an application filed by an entity called Madman Film Ventures. Now, this entity claims to be a shareholder of Zee. This entity, what it essentially argued before the NCLT is that, look, the NCLT has granted its approval. There were disagreements between the two sides on whether or not Puneet Goenka should continue. These disagreements need to be set aside, need to be ironed out, and that in the larger interest of the shareholders, there should be a move towards sealing this deal, sealing this merger. That was the application, that was the prayer made by Madman Films. But what's important is that Sony was very clear. In fact, they sought an outright dismissal of this application, saying that Madman Film Ventures is nothing but a proxy for Zee. What they're essentially saying is that Zee is trying to implement this merger, is trying to enforce this merger through its shareholder. Not just that, Sony also clarified that the NCLT approval was a conditional approval that was granted to the merger, that there were conditions that had to be met before that merger, and that this is a case where those conditions have not been met, and therefore no case is made out for implementation or enforcing that merger. Let's keep in mind that the parties are engaged in arbitration in Singapore. That is what both Sony and Zee were alluding to. And finally, Zee also clarified in its position that in no shape or form is Madman Films any proxy to Zee Entertainment, the company in question. Now, so what are the takeaways? Well, for one, NCLT Mumbai has not agreed to the Sony demand for dismissing this plea application. On the contrary, what NCLT Mumbai has done is that it has said that this is a fit case for further hearing, and to that end, a notice has been issued to Sony and to Zee to come back with their response on the way forward as far as this merger is concerned. The next hearing is scheduled for March 12th.
All right, Ashmit, appreciate you joining us here with the details. Meanwhile, an emergency arbitration on the Zee-Sony tussle will kick off in Singapore. Sony is seeking a termination fee of $90 million from Zee. Zee has called the claim untenable. Of course, both those developments will be tracked closely here. The big interview of the day.